Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CINEKYD Television Theater. I'm Bob Clark, the Executive Director of CINEKYD Enterprises Incorporated. I'm so pleased that you could be with us for tonight's program. This is a 30-minute television show created by boys and girls who range in age from 7 to 17 years. And you will find out it is really creative broadcasting. We're going to start with a very special interview section called When I Grow Up. And this is the second part of a sequence that generated a tremendous response. We showed part one just a few weeks ago when our mobile crew with Dave Trachtenberg ventured to a place called the Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater. Join us now as we return to the scene with Dave Trachtenberg and When I Grow Up.
Hi, I'm David Trachtenberg on When I Grow Up. If you watched a couple weeks ago, you'll notice we're in the same place, Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater. This week, we're going to be talking with the marketing director, Mrs. Anita Foreman. For those viewers who didn't watch last week, could you tell them what Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater is?
Well, Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater is, I think, probably the newest family-oriented entertainment center in the Philadelphia area. Right now, it's part of a national chain of entertainment restaurants that are all over the United States, in Canada, and Australia. There are about 175, I believe, at this point, and they're building 3 or 4 a week. I think it's probably best described as a combination pizza restaurant, entertainment center, video game arcade with a little bit of Disney World thrown in.
Right. What do you do yourself?
I'm in charge of all the promotion, all the marketing ideas, and I guess my biggest job is to just convince people to come to Chuck E. Cheese's.
Why don't you give me some background on yourself, your family, and that sort of thing?
Well, I have 2 children and a husband. I have a son that will be going to college next year. He's 17, and a daughter who's 15. And I graduated from college at the University of Florida. I attended first and graduated at the University of California at Berkeley. Done a lot of different things. I taught school. I was a social worker. I worked for the Internal Revenue, and my most fun job up to now has been this one.
Why don't you tell me about the video games here? A little bit about how they're selected and that sort of thing.
Right. We really do that on a research basis. We kind of research which games are the most popular and try to get a variety of the most popular games, and we keep changing them as new games come along. And we try to have a selection so that we can meet every type of personality. We not only have video games, we have little children's rides for the preschoolers, little helicopters and boats and trains and things for the little ones, and we have skee ball. And then we have all of the most recent video games, Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man and Tron.
What do you consider the unique part of Chuck E. Cheese and the Pizza Time Theater?
I think the most interesting thing about it is that a family can come, and everyone from the little child of 2 to the grandmother of 82 can have a good time at the same time. There's something here for everybody.
What do you think makes Chuck E. Cheese so much better than the average arcade that you go to?
Well, first of all, this is a family place. It's really not an arcade, and you can't call it an arcade. The atmosphere is a family atmosphere, and it's a nice, wholesome atmosphere. To keep it that way, we require that anybody under the age of 18 must be accompanied by a parent. We want this to be a family place, not just an amusement area, and kids can't just walk in and just play the games. Mr. Bushnell was very, very adamant on that.
Do you play the games yourself?
Occasionally. Usually I'm too busy. There's not much time for games.
How long has this particular one been open?
We've been open about 11 weeks. We opened August 8th, and the response has been tremendous. We've really been happy about that.
How many are there?
All in all, there are about 175 in the country, and they are opening at a rate of 3 or 4 per week. They are also situated in Alaska, Canada, Australia, and pretty much of the country has been taken up with franchise agreements at this point. There are not too many places that haven't been bought up for developing.
What is the reaction of visitors who visit here and see the video games and the king and that kind of thing?
I think usually it's one of shock and surprise. People just don't know what to expect, even if they've read about it. And I know my own feeling was the same. I read about it and I had heard about it for weeks before I finally saw one. And you walk in and the whole thing seems to be greater than the sum of its parts. There's noise and there's music and there's Elvis Presley singing in the background and games and lights and mirrored ceilings, and you just don't know where to look. And usually the kids know exactly where to go. They run right to the games, and the parents kind of look around and try and decide just exactly what's going on here.
Well, this place is, as we established, it's a kid's place. So what do the parents do while the kids are playing the video games?
Well, you'd be surprised. First of all, a lot of the parents make the kids leave so they can play the games. Secondly, we find that a lot of the parents really love the Cabaret Lounge, which is where the king is. He's our 7-foot lion that sings Elvis Presley hits. And for those of us that are vintage, we remember Elvis Presley when he was really popular, so it's a little bit of nostalgia. Parents of little children are sometimes so busy just watching the little ones that they really don't have much time for anything on their own part. And then we find that we have our oversized TV room with a large screen, and the daddies come in here and watch the ball games while the kids run around the store and play the games.
What do you think is the future for not just this Chuck E. Cheese, but the concept of Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, first of all, I think that people have to realize that video games are here to stay. And if it can be in a controlled situation such as this, in a wholesome atmosphere, I don't think people will have any objection. I think they'll like it. Secondly, I think that an important thing to realize is that this is the computer age, and this is what a video game is all about. Pizza Time Theater is right now developing educational type games and educational type computers for use in the stores, with the idea that today's generation should be familiar with computers because they're here forever. Right. And we might as well learn to use them, enjoy them, and get some educational value out of them too.
Right, so kids actually get something out of playing these games, right?
I think they do.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Foreman, and we thank you for watching When I Grew Up. So this concludes our session at Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater. I hope you'll come down here and visit it because it's a really fun place to be. Well, we'll see you in the weeks to come on When I Grew Up. This is David Trachtenberg. Good night.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Mrs. Foreman. And now to the town of Oakdale. Things have been picking up steam, to say the least. What's happened to the political campaign? And whose are the bones that are the skeleton in the closet?
Flour, half a cup of water, a teaspoon of sugar.
What kind of place is this? You haven't seen Mabel, have you?
No, sir. A dash of salt.
Excuse me,
Sally Baines.
Yes, Sally. What are you doing?
Oh, well, Miss Kate is giving me a test today, and I was just kind of reviewing my notes.
A test?
Well, now, you're all ready, I suppose.
Kate, I understand that you're the boss of the kitchen.
That I am.
And me being only a humble owner, I wouldn't want to intrude.
And you better not.
But your assistant here, I hear you're giving her a test.
That I am.
Well, I make the drinks here. And when I first started bartending, no one gave me a test.
And I've tried your drinks. They should have.
Kate, you... Doesn't matter. You haven't seen Mabel, have you?
No, I haven't.
It's just terrific.
Well, now, dearie, let's see what you remember about making an Oakdale pie crust.
2 cups of flour, half a cup of water, a teaspoon of sugar, a dash of salt.
Where did you say she was?
In the kitchen making tea.
Well, the kettle's on the stove. In fact, the water's boiling. But the kitchen's empty.
I'm gonna check outside.
Wait a second. Let me help you, bud.
All right.
Aunt Tilly! Aunt Tilly! Oh, Fiorello, something terrible has happened to Leslie. You promised me you wouldn't dig. I didn't go digging. Well, then what is it? Is it a hand? No. Is it a foot? No. Well, then what is it?
Well, I didn't go digging again, but when I was coming up the walk, I looked under the step and found this.
What is it?
A skull.
Oh, show me where you found it.
Look, I really don't know my way around here. That building in the back, did you check it?
No, not yet.
Let's go take a look.
Wait, it's quicker if we go out the back door.
Well, show me the way.
Suzanne.
Where is she? She's probably with what's his name.
His name is Bud.
Oh, yes, that's right. Let's go this way.
Aunt Tilly? Aunt Tilly? Oh, Aunt Tilly, where are you?
And now, from the town of Oakdale, join me as we walk down the hallway and take a look at the CINEKYD bulletin board.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Jolly. This week on CINEKYD's bulletin board, you'll find Chuck E. Cheese himself appearing at our family movie night, Saturday night, January 15th. Showtime is at 7:30 p.m. Chuck E. Cheese will be providing lots of prizes and entertainment for the members of our audience. And in addition, he will be hosting a Laurel and Hardy Film Festival. That same night, the best of Laurel and Hardy will be seen at CINEKYD's Gordon Odeon. Tickets are $1.50 in advance and $1.75 at the door. Come on out, especially you kids. Meet Chuck E. Cheese, watch Laurel and Hardy, go home with a prize. This Saturday, January 15th, 7:30 p.m. For more information, call us at 659-4696.
Hi, I'm your host for Nickelodeon, Chris Wilson. This week on Nickelodeon, we'll be showing a film using the technique of claymation. The film was made several years ago by a couple of very talented CINEKYD students. And now here's a film called Friends Forever. lasted a little over 1 minute. It took over 3 days to shoot. I'd like to thank you for watching Nickelodeon. In weeks to come, we'll have films that were made even more recently than these films. Thank you for watching, and good night.
And now, behind the scenes, an exclusive interview with Brian Eggleston of CINEKYD Journal.
I started it in the fall of 1978. My mother found out about it from a friend, and so she thought that I might like to be in it. So I write stories, and then they go into CINEKYD Journal. And I also have a show called Stop the Presses that talks about CINEKYD Journal and what's going to happen in the next issue. It just discusses what's happening in CINEKYD Journal and tells a little bit about the magazine and the articles in it. Well, I think it's really fun, and I'm learning how to write a lot better than I did before. In the past, during the summer when I first started CINEKYD Journal, I was mostly working on what the different crews were doing. That's about it. Yes, I started in the fall of 1978.
What did you start out doing?
I started, well, CINEKYD Journal just started in 1981, and then I was in Tyro for the younger kids, and I was mainly working on acting and so before CINEKYD had gotten its show on television. I wanted to do it at first, but Mr. Clark said he wanted me to still do acting, so, and then the first 2 issues of CINEKYD Journal were pretty bad, and then Wendy said she wanted to renew it and to come up with a lot better issues, and so now we have what we have today. I mostly choose what I want to write, and Wendy gives each of us a few suggestions what she thinks would be good, and then if you have anything that you'd like to write about, you can write it. It revolves around CINEKYD as a whole, and we want to get it away from being for people who already know a little about CINEKYD, and so people who have never been to CINEKYD or haven't never seen CINEKYD theater will know all about CINEKYD through the magazine. When I'm writing, right now when I'm writing Whiplash, it usually involves getting all the data together from what I had seen usually the Saturday before, and then writing it on paper. But when I'm working on a crew, then I have to go out and ask the crew a whole bunch of questions. That takes about half an hour, and then I come back and start writing the article. I don't do interviews. I ask questions and find out what the crew is all about and observe the crew and then write it down. I have to write the script for Stop the Presses, and so I can tell people about this month's issue of CINEKYD Journal and get them interested in it. And I also have to write my stories. So I have about the same contribution of everybody in our crew. Everybody on our crew has to help do layout and put the magazine together. First of all, Wendy types up the entire issue, leaving spaces for pictures, etc. And then right now we're trying to get original artwork, but we mainly have to use clipbooks where there's a bunch of drawings already done, and we get good drawings and cut them out and paste them into the journal, and then it's printed, and after it's printed we have to come in and staple it, and it's ready. The first volume was different, and then came the second volume, which was completely different. And whenever we changed the format of it, and like the cover's always different pictures, but that doesn't matter. But when we change the format, like if it will go into a little book or something, we'll call it another volume. It usually takes us about 45 minutes getting information to write an article, and then it takes us about the rest of the month. And we have deadlines, we have to have our stories in so Wendy can type them up, and then we have to do layout the next Wednesday, which takes a couple of hours. It's pretty boring, and none of us really like doing it, but it's one of the responsibilities we have. We have to type up all our stories and that takes a long time. And you have to write them out, and we have to, well, we usually make a mess of Wendy's office, and so we have to clean that up every Wednesday night.
And now, behind the scenes, an exclusive interview with Jake Ashwar of the Makeup and Costumes crew.
Makeup has always been a passion to me. It's ever since I was 7. I was fooling around with watercolors and stuff. Making masks is my life, okay? I'm going to do this for a living once I get old enough, which will be hopefully soon. What we do is first, you take a whole lot of clay and you sculpt a head of an alien or some kind of, most likely, my favorites are the disgusting people who have guts ripped out and stuff. And you sculpt them out of clay, and then you take a material called dental stone, and you pour it all over the thing, and you break it, well, not really break it, you separate it in half, so it's 2 parts, pull it off the clay sculpture, you pull out all the clay. Then when you let the mold dry out for a while, you take a material called liquid latex, which is like a white cookie stuff that dries to rubber. You pour it in the mold, and you let it sit for about, I don't know, overnight. And then you can pull out the finished product, and you get a latex mask, and then you paint it. Here I brought an example of, this is the dental stone mold that was made by, took the clay sculpture, and I put it over top, and I pulled this off. And that's what the mold looks like. Then I took some latex rubber, and this is what latex looks like. It's a little reddish, but it's like a gooey white material, and it's really, it smells like ammonia. It's hard to work with, especially when you have a gallon of it at a time. When I took the latex, and I poured it into the mold, and after you take that latex out, you get something like this, okay? Only it's not painted, it wouldn't be colored, and I put the hair on later. This is the werewolf from Telford Mansion. It was done about a 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I enjoy learning from Peggy because all this time I've been doing like special effects stuff and masks, and what I'm really lacking in is the basics, like achieving things with paint and shadows and highlights, and she's helped me a lot with this. The only thing I don't enjoy are the rushing, and the hairspray and powder gets to my throat and it dries it out. For a scene, we prepare. We've got about 20 people in a room that's about 10 foot by, well, about 15 feet by 15 feet, and it's really crowded. We have to get the makeup together. Then we have to make these people up within a short amount of time, and it gets hectic a lot. And then after, Peggy usually teaches us some new methods. Like last week, she reviewed an old age. I make it a challenge for myself. Like I always try and make my work better and better. I always try and improve. If you've ever seen any movies like American Werewolf in London or The Howling, where they use special effects and you like see werewolves, or you see something that is physically impossible to do in a person, they use mechanical effects with makeup, like a skin coating over it, and moves. And right now, I'd like to get into that kind of thing, but I don't have the money or the resources. It's really complicated. I've done a few things, like I have a hand that opens and closes for a haunted house we're doing this Halloween, but that's about it.
How does your hand work?
I took a piece of cardboard and made a palm, and I took straws for the fingers, and I cut them in little sections, like little triangles at the joints, so they would bend in the right positions. And then I took string and put it up through the fingers and tied it to the top, so when you would pull on the string, the finger would bend. And I made like all the fingers like that, including the thumb, and then I gave it the hand to a friend who hooked it up, is George Jakumis, who hooked it up to a little motor with a thing that turned underneath it and then pulled the strings individually and made the hand open and close.
In your opinion, who is the world's greatest makeup artist?
In my opinion, I would say, in a list, Dick Smith, John Chambers, Rick Baker, Rob Botton, who did The Thing, which I thought was incredible. Rick Baker did American Werewolf in London, The Incredible Melting Man, It's Alive, and the forthcoming Videodrome, which I hear is supposed to be really good. Dick Smith did The Exorcist, The Godfather, Little Big Man, the old age makeup for Dustin Hoffman. John Chambers did The Planet of the Apes. He basically started the use of foam rubber, although Dick Smith had a lot to do with that. And after that comes Thomas Savini, who did Creepshow, which should be coming out soon, and Stan Winston, who did Dead and Buried. It's pretty much in order, like the best to the worst, or the best to the not as best, not really worst. I think CINEKYD's a terrific place to learn. There's nothing like it at all. I can't figure out any other place where you can get this much experience and learn as much as we do here. And it's really good. I would recommend that anybody who has a serious interest in filmmaking or any aspect of that kind of thing, acting. This is my pride and joy. This is what I spent all these years to work up to. It's my E.T. mask. It took us about 2 months. The head I sculpted, I used about 46 pounds of clay. We used about 25 pounds of dental stone to cast it, and we used about a quarter of a gallon to get the head, to pour the latex and pull it out. And I painted it with an airbrush and brown paint, and I made the eyes. I made it basically for the science fiction convention. Might as well put it on.
Well, it's just about that time. I'd like to thank you for being with us for this week's edition of CINEKYD Television Theater. I invite you to take advantage of some of the wonderful activities that take place here on the CINEKYD campus. And young people between the ages of 7 and 17. If you're interested in the world of communication, this is where it's at. Give us a call. The number is 659-4696. We're located at 129 Turwood Road in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. Until next week then, same time, same channel. This is Bob Clark. Good night and God bless.